Welcome to the Scene Series, where we paint movie and TV shows in this sketchbook. Last Christmas we did Home Alone 2 and Elf. And last episode I got a ton of great suggestions from you guys. But today, this is the Christmas film we're gonna be painting. This is a movie that I have never seen before, and this is the scene that we're going to be painting. But first we need to grab the art supplies. It's very cold and rainy outside, so let's get cozy. I put a pink light all around the room just to match the whole aesthetic. And the Christmas lights are on. The tinsel and paint supplies, because today we're using watercolor, which is kind of no different from usual. This is the sketch, and I loved this sketch until I realised that it actually looks quite similar to the one that we did last time. They're both dark green and moody, so we're gonna have to change this up. I'm thinking red. This cadmium red might just work. And let's just ignore my hands. I finally got a printer and there's ink all over them. We're just gonna ignore that and get started. Picking out the most Christmassy washi tape I own, which is literally just stars and a moon, because I don't really have any. Still, it's cute and cozy and means that we're going to get a lovely white border around the outside, which has really set this sketchbook apart from any other. It looks really professional, it works really well, especially because every painting is using watercolor with other mediums on top. The whole sketchbook flows and it honestly looks amazing so far. This is the 14th painting in the Scene series, and honestly I think there's room for about 30 more paintings in this sketchbook, so we've got a lot more to do. If you have any suggestions, feel free to leave them below, because there's a lot more pages in this sketchbook. We're starting by going in with red, which is slightly different from the blue-green background in the film, but how amazing do these blooms look? I am such a huge fan of this technique. I know they're a little bit controversial. Some people love creating blooms and some people hate it. And it does look a little bit messy. It looks different on different paper, but I personally love blooms. And whenever I create blooms like this, it tends to make me approach the painting in a different way and change all of my plans because I just don't want to cover them up. And this one here is no exception. I chose red for the background because I thought it would complement the jacket that Santa is wearing. Also, red is a very Christmassy colour, so I think that was just the obvious choice. The painting on the other page has a blue-green feel. It's very cool. So I think approaching this one in a little bit more of a warm way really works. But this isn't the first time that this has happened. I actually did it on the very first page of this sketchbook. I painted a scene from Harry Potter and The Mandalorian, and somehow they both look the same. Like, they don't look the same, they look completely different, but the color palettes ended up exactly the same. The armor from Harry Potter kind of looked like the Mandalorian outfit, so somehow they ended up the same. And to be honest, that's kind of why I budged Santa a little bit further to the right, because if he was right in the middle, this scene would somehow look pretty identical to Jennifer's body. And it's amazing how that works out. Like, how is a Christmas film looking similar to Jennifer's body? But it did. They both have a similar background. Obviously, there are bars that I will be drawing in this one. The bars from the swimming pool scene in the last one. So yeah, somehow both scenes are quite similar. The film is the Christmas Chronicles. It's from Netflix and it came out in 2018. I had heard of it, but for some reason I thought it came out a lot earlier than 2018. I did not realize it was that recent. Fun fact, I actually skimmed through this entire movie on my iPad very quickly just to try and pick a scene to paint this piece before watching the movie. That was odd. Of course it's odd for me to be painting a scene that I've never seen before, but I ended up choosing this scene because it's literally Santa Claus in jail, and I mean, that's just funny. That's why I chose this scene, because where else do you see that? I have now watched the movie and it's actually really good. So that was actually a really great suggestion. Thanks for that one, Mel. The gist of the movie is two kids try to catch Santa on Christmas Eve as he's coming down the chimney, and they kind of do. They ruin his whole night, get delayed, end up in jail, and almost ruin Christmas, as they often tend to. It is a bit of a cliche movie, but I guess all Christmas films kind of are. They all have the same sort of plot. And then I watched the second one. Controversial opinion, I actually preferred the second. My partner preferred the first one, so I have no clue how controversial that actually is. The first is probably a bit more of a classic. The second one is a bit more crazy, a bit more chaotic. It doesn't really have a flow, and honestly I think that's probably why I like it, because you know how sometimes a sequel can be really good because it doesn't need that half an hour of introduction, so you can just get straight on with the plot, like Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, Two Towers from Lord of the Rings, even Frozen 2. This one is like that, but obviously not as good as those.
Cold enough to make you shiver, but not cold enough to snow. Cold enough to know it's winter, perfect time to say our first hello. Scarves and sweaters bundled up in cotton, knowing names that wouldn't be forgotten, laughing over our own sense of humor underneath the Christmas lights that glow. I'm glad I got to know you better. We've come so far since that day.
The painting was interesting because it had some really odd stages. I mean, it very quickly looked like Santa because they have all of the recognizable features. They have a beard and red clothes, and it very quickly does kind of look like Santa. But for a long while, it really just looked like a bad Christmas card. Like for a long while, until the color pencils came out. I went to take a photo on my phone of like a work in progress shot, and I took the photo and I was gonna post it on my stories, and then I was like, this is a really weird piece because it looks like it could be done, because it is Santa, it is a person. It looks like it could be a finished piece that's just not very good, rather than a halfway piece that needs all of those details added. It looked decent for a while, like reasonably decent. So yeah, it was a really odd piece because it looked like Santa for a long while, but just not a good Santa. But here come the color pencils. I am new to color pencils. I mean, I like to sketch with them on their own, especially for the Daily Doodle Diary. But when it comes to watercolor, I don't always add them. I didn't for the Secret Santa. Sometimes they can define details and really make a piece pop, and other times they just don't work at all. So recently I actually didn't use them at all for this watercolor piece that I painted. It was for the huge Secret Santa collab that I did with 17 other artists. If you haven't seen that, I'll leave the whole playlist down below. You've got to make sure to check that out. But I painted a portrait of a witch in a loose flowery style with watercolor, and for that I just felt like splatters and blooms worked better, not being super defined. Instead, I just added lots and lots and lots of layers because pencils do add texture. And sometimes that doesn't really match watercolor if that's not the look you're going for. You really can lose something if you add too much with color pencils. So pencils scare me when I paint like this with watercolor. But here, I think it really helped. It helped to make Santa look like a real human with real hair and skin texture and actual physical clothes, as opposed to a cute watercolor Christmas card, or making it look like I'm trying to paint an animated Santa Claus. Because this Santa is a real person. I mean, it's a live action with random little CGI elves, which are a little bit creepy, and it's Kurt Russell playing Santa Claus. It's pretty chaotic as far as Santas go. It's the most chaotic, good, crazy, kind of bad Santa that I've ever seen. It's a very odd interpretation, but also kind of hot. And this is how my version has turned out. Obviously, we had to alter quite a few areas, and I fell in love with some of these blooms, so I ended up moving the bars to try and keep them in. But I think the recognizable features are all there, and honestly, I kind of love it. What do you think? I think this might be my best Scene Series portrait since E.T. Let me know what you think. Have you seen the movie? What do you think of the film? And most importantly, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Make sure to relax, have some good food, and really take time for yourself as well as everyone else. I'll be back here on Boxing Day as we go through all of the goals that I failed for this year. So hopefully I'll see you then. Bye bye.